We see a lot of clients in a lot of situations, and we see probably 3 areas where the mistakes made are common, they're actually easy to mitigate, and they're not expensive. Look, one of the main things that we see people doing with cybersecurity that is avoidable is staff clicking on email links that they may not, that they shouldn't. The phishing is a well-known technique. People receive an email that looks very legitimate, and before they know it, they've clicked on a link and they've opened the business to an attack. The ways that we see people increasing awareness relate to education for a start. So it's not just an induction thing and set and forget. The nature of these attacks changes over time, so refresh education is important. It doesn't take long. I've seen some very effective 2 and 3 minute videos that you can find on YouTube. They can help your employees recognise a threatening email. That's what you can do at the staff level, and at the business level there are a number of very cost-effective products, both on-premise and cloud-based, that can let you do a better job of filtering those emails before they even get to your employee's inbox. Or if they do click on something, it actually prevents the link being resolved and the threat coming into the business. Some password practices that are not best practice that we've seen. Companies might issue a standard password to new employees. So we've seen this in an extreme case. It was a 3-letter password, and it was very easy to guess. And every new employee got it, and they were not asked to change it, and there was nothing that imposed a change. So down the track, they had several hundred staff all with the same 3-letter password. Now that's a major exposure. It makes it easy for employees, ex-employees, partners, spouses, children, anybody in that community basically can almost walk in the door from an information point of view when you've got a password regime that's at that end of the spectrum. So steps to take to improve password robustness, I guess there are 2 or 3 things that are commonly done. You can set rules in your environment to automate this, but you can set a certain level of robustness as a threshold. So for example, robustness might mean more characters. It might mean 8 characters instead of 6. It might mean that one character has to be a capital, or one has to be a number, or one has to be a symbol. So obviously the more you push that envelope, the more difficult it is to copy or to use brute force to crack a password. But they do make them harder to remember, so there's a compromise. Another technique is to impose a frequency that passwords get changed. So for example, you might automate this in your network that passwords have to be changed, say for example, once every 3 months. And that seems to be a balance that we see a lot. Once a month gets a bit of a pain. Once a year is probably getting a bit too far out. The thing about backup is, because it runs typically overnight, if it doesn't work, it doesn't stop the business running the next morning. So the trucks still get loaded, the tickets still get printed, the transactions still happen. And what we see often is that backups don't run successfully for quite a while. And then when you turn around to depend on that backup to recover your systems after a breach, that's when you find that your backup has been compromised and you don't have a full set of data to recover to. So it's a very easy precaution. It's checking logs, checking error messages, making sure your backup schedule fits the time, fits the amount of data that needs to be backed up. Or it might be that it's time to look at cloud backup if you don't want to manage it yourself. You can get a cloud backup as a service, which basically takes the complexity away, and there's service levels that guarantee that it's always done, and reporting so that you can tick it off to know that it's been done safely. It is a major precaution for people, and unfortunately, because when it fails, it's not obvious straight away, it's often overlooked.